Well, some further progress has been made. These are all the resistors and some of the components I've replaced in the vertical section. As you can see, lots of shit components. That 0.018 was very, very leaky, along with this 0.022 or point something rather. It was 0.0068, I think it was. 0.0068. Yes, 0.0068. So 6 and 8 went in there. So the some of the new components in place you can see there. That's the 0.0. I put a 0.022 in there. I didn't have a 0.018, and 6 and 8, 0.0068 is there, and other numerous resistors are installed in there. Now, when I fired it up, I just did a blanket replacement of all the components, and when I fired it up, I was greeted with a very small picture, no height, and all folded over. I'm thinking, okay, what have I done? What have I done wrong? So I traced back through my steps, and yeah, so that 0.022 is there, and I put a 0.22 in there. So that upset the circuit a little bit. Basically, yeah, kind of had very little height. Would have upset all this circuitry. So put a 0.02 in there and fired it up again. Hello, we had a picture, but the linearity was all up the wazoo. Meaning I couldn't adjust the height properly. The linearity was all wrong, and the linearity control did nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. I think right. So double checked all the components I changed. Yeah, everything seemed to be okay. Measured this voltage there. That was all these voltages were within spec. Even checked over back here. Everything was fine. I thought, right, I wonder if the linearity pot's crook, and sort of lifted that out of circuit, and no, it seemed sorry over here. Sorry, no, that read okay. I checked the top linearity pot. Everything seemed fine. I sort of sat there scratching my head for a little bit, and I thought, well, surely something's wrong. I've obviously done something wrong, but no, everything seemed to be okay. And then I started looking. I couldn't find this 120k resistor, and I thought, I'm sure I changed it. I'd looked in the circuit, and I couldn't see it anywhere, and I looked on the board, and I couldn't see it anywhere, and until I looked on here, and yeah, the penny dropped. Sorry, which one is that now? Yeah, 326. I looked down at the board, and what had I put in? An 820k, not a 120k, you twit. So, bunged in a 120k, and guess what? Had a picture, which I could adjust. I could adjust linearity and everything. I could just height, and yeah, not a problem. So two mistakes. That cap I put the wrong value cap in there, and I put 820 instead of 120k in there. That was a couple of nights ago. I was quite tired, and it's probably why. So now we do have a picture. This is a cold start. I have not fired this up since a few days ago, so we'll see what we get greeted with. Well, yeah, got the signal, got my pack generator all running. My DVD player running through the VCR. It's all working. So yeah. I think you guys will see a definite improvement in what kind of picture we get on the screen, unless something else has decided to crap out. And there we go. An actual picture that fills the screen and doesn't roll. Yeah. But to be honest, it's actually not as bright as I thought it would be. It seemed, the picture appeared to be quite bright. Mind you, it is coming up a wee bit, but yeah, it's bright. It's definitely bright, but it's not as bright. It seemed to be like, you know, when the picture was all cramped and small, it seemed to have a lot of illumination. But now the screen is being filled. It's not as bright as what I thought it would be. But hey, look, that's fine. I mean, tube testers can lie. There could be some other issues in the brightness circuitry or the video contrast. You know, there could be some other components which have drifted out of whack. I'm going to go through and actually probably check all that at some stage later on. But no, looking at the actual looking at the actual IF response and the video quality and the resolution, it looks fine. It looks perfectly fine. I can't see any reason to even touch the alignment on this. You might remember how I said it was going to be grainy before. That's something to do with the fine tuning. There's definitely something up with the tuner, because the other night I had it going quite grainy and funny. I found by sort of wiggling a few things. But as you can see, that's yeah, video response is good. It's yeah, I can't see any reason to even touch the alignment with this thing. Yeah, so that's where we're at with this at this present stage. It's looking pretty good actually so far. And I was doing some more poking around out in my garage, and I actually found a complete plastic housing for the yoke. So I've got that. In fact, the yoke actually looks like the replacement yoke I've actually got. Actually looks like it might even plug straight in. In fact, it could even be the same yoke. I'll have to go out and double check. But if it is, I'll just swap the yoke over, swap the whole thing over. It means none muck around all this carry on here. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where we are at with this at the moment. But yeah, who would have thought he put in the wrong value resistor? But yeah. These pots actually don't seem too dirty. I think these pots need replacing. They get in there. The pots seem to do their. What's that? That is height. Yeah, that's that one. That one's height. That's height, and I think this is top linearity here. No, hang on. No, sorry, that's height there. Sorry, that's height. That's height, and then we've got linearity. That's linearity there. This is the one that was doing absolutely nothing. And actually height is, I think, no, sorry, this one here is top. Yeah, okay, this one is top linearity. So we've got top linearity, height, and then overall linearity. So yep. So the vertical stage is now working as it should, as you can see. Doing what it's supposed to. It's I did have it running for a good probably 20 minutes the other night, and yeah, the vertical was nice and stable, wasn't drifting, lock stayed good. But yeah, no, I just that picture could be a little bit brighter, just a little bit brighter. But I don't know whether I'm just being picky or, mind you, looking at this here. You know, look at the amount of wear around the controls where all the lettering's come off. So the set is, I think I've said the set has seen a bit of use. So, but yeah, but we'll investigate everything. We'll investigate all the other avenues at some later stage. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a brief update. Again, this will be another segmented bunch of videos probably joined together. And yeah, so more and more of these shitty components are being replaced. So all right, that's it for now, and stay tuned for another update. My phone has been giving me issues. This is probably the 4th time I've actually tried to record this segment, so 5th time lucky, here we go. Anyhow, so a bit of an update on the Murphy. What have I done? What progress have I made on it? Replaced a few more resistors. So the pile is growing, as you can see. Yeah. And sort of see over here, you can sort of see the new ones in their correct positions. At least this time I didn't put the wrong value ones in there and then discover why that part of the circuit wasn't working. It was what happened last time with the vertical. It was all up the wazoo. Yeah, I kind of went through and did the ones in the horizontal oscillator section as well. Some of those are actually a bitch to get at because, access wasn't that great. I've got to check that Duke and electrolytic down there as well. It's probably a bit gone, a bit crusty as well. All these ones here, I've checked them. They're not really that critical, and they're all within spec, so we'll just leave them in. Still haven't sorted the sound yet on this, and that wire broke off. But yeah, that output Pendo I think it's a 6HG5, I think it is. I don't know if I've got any of those. I'm not actually sure if it's equivalent, or even the pin equivalent to a 6AQ5, which is pretty much the same. I don't know. I'll have to investigate that. But from memory, I know we had the sound working. I think on either the first or second video when the set was running on enough HT to make everything work. I do believe the sound. Yeah, we did have sound, but it kept cutting in and out. Probably due to that bloody wire or the valve socket being dirty. So anyhow, we'll revisit that later. Now, in regards to the tuner, and I decided to pull out my valve tester and test a few valves while I was working on it the other weekend. And because I thought, well, I might as well sort of do the tuner first, because if I wiggled the valves, the picture would cut in and out or disappear altogether. So I thought I'd test the valves, and well, just as well I did, because both of them were a bit sad. The 6GK5, they're good emissions, but it had several element shorts, so I might as well change that. But the 6GH8, is it 6HG8, sorry, ECF86 equivalent. Both sections of this valve were pretty much dead. Well, not dead, but very, very low emission. The triode side had some emissions, but the pentode side had virtually nothing. So it was amazing the tuner was actually even receiving it all. Obviously the components in the tuner must be okay. But funnily enough, now when I tune off station, I get snow instead of a blank raster. So obviously there's definitely some improvement there. Don't think I've changed any capacitors. Any more caps than last time? I don't think so. Still got to change those two. I just can't be. I'm just being lazy. They're not in a high voltage part. I think that's probably the that one is probably the cathode bypass cap for the audio, I think, which is here C108 40 mic. So yeah, I said I'm going to worry about the sound last. I mean, that's the least of my worries at the moment. Right, now on to other things of more concern. I have two 1B3 GT sitting here. That's the original. That is the substitute replacement. I've noticed as the set warms, the EHT drops a little bit. Now, it's not by much, but it's definitely more noticeable as the set warms. I notice the picture's not as bright. Now, the tube in this is not as good as what I thought. It's got a good picture, but it's just not bright. I've done a quick measurement of all the voltages to the tube, and they're all there. There's nothing lacking, or all the voltages are correct, or all within spec. And so I thought, well, okay. I thought maybe there's something funny going on with either the damper or the line output tube, or even the EHT rectifier. I thought, well, okay. Well, before we start looking at VDRs and all the type of carry on, I thought, well, I'll just do the obvious thing and do a valve swap. Well, so I went to my 60-litre Santa's Grotto plastic container full of valves. There's probably about 20 to 30 years of second-hand black and white television valves here scavenged over the years in here. So there's lots and lots and lots of valves. All of them unknown, untested. One day, and this is one day, I'm going to sit down with a set as a guinea pig, and just I'll get really, really, really bored on a wet winter's day. I'll pull all these valves, basically group them all up, and start testing them all one at a time in a working set. yeah, I'll probably never do that. But you never know. You never know how keen I might get. I might even use this bloody thing here as a guinea pig. Yeah. So anyhow, back to the thing. Back to the valves in question. So I put that in, and yeah, the moment the EHT kicked in, I heard this crack, 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 and the picture disappeared. And I thought, that's no good. And then I looked up, and I saw smoke coming out of here. And it's like, oh, what the hell? It's cremated this 1K resistor, which is directly in series with the final anode lead. I think it's R421 here. So this bloody valve must have arced over or shorted or done something. So yeah, I'm going to replace that resistor and hope like hell it hasn't actually killed the flyback. Hopefully, probably not, but you never know. So I'm a little bit annoyed actually about that. Yeah, so I think this valve needs to be punished in some way. I reckon at some stage in the future when it's daylight, I think a clonk with a hammer out in the concrete might actually sort it out. So yeah, you guys might get to witness this valve being smashed. It'd be quite satisfying actually break it in some ways. The valve must die. Right. So that's a bit of an update for now. I'm going to change that resistor, and yeah, I will reassess the situation, and I'll find another 1B3 GT to put in there. Hopefully, I'll find one that doesn't look as crusty as this. So. Okay, that's it for now, and stay tuned for more, guys. See ya. Well, I decided before going any further on this, I'd change these power supply doubling caps and the main filter cap, just so I can pretty much call this bottom section of the set done, until I discovered how these are mounted in here. Yes, they're on clamps, standard, but the clamps are kind of soldered to the chassis or folded down with these little strips which you can't loosen. So not very happy with the people who designed this right now. You bastards. Said some rather choice words off camera. But yeah, so not very happy with that. It's I'm sure people have tackled worse things, but yeah, so luckily this one here was actually quite loose. I was able to get a screwdriver down. You can just see the screw head in there. Get the screwdriver on there and a pair of pliers on the other end to manage to actually loosen the screw off. I was able to actually work this out like that. So hopefully I might be able to get a screwdriver down on an angle on there and get the pliers on that end and then loosen that clamp to get that one out. Well, that's the theory anyway, because the smoothing choke and vertical aperture transform are also basically soldered via their tags onto the chassis. So I'd have to have a really beefy iron to heat those up, and I don't have one of those handy. Yeah, so fun times. But good thing is, though, I don't have to muck around with tag strips and terminals, at least for these two anyway, because tag strip terminals and separate caps, because I have some new old stock ones of these nice good quality old Elner capacitors, and they're the same diameter as well, so they will literally just slide straight into the old clamps, and then I'll just have to try and do the screws up again. So I was quite glad to find these. In fact, I've got a number of these actually, which no doubt will get used on future black and white TV restoration projects. Yeah, so that was quite a good fun. I knew I had some somewhere, but I went digging, and I thought, now there we go. I knew I had some in a box, and sure enough, I came across about half a dozen in a bag. So yeah, really, really good. I don't have to muck around. I think I know I've got some multi-section filter caps, can type caps as well out there, but I'll have to double check the values against the ones that I've got out in the garage. And I've got, because there's two, I've got the other one reforming down here on the old capacitor bridge. Yeah, so that's currently on about 200 volts. I wonder what our milliamp scale is. Oh, there we go. What's that? There we are. Yep, that's pretty much slowly forming. If I give it a wee bit more voltage, it'll probably make it rise a bit. No, you can see it there moving. Go to that scale, it'll probably be quite high. So it's about 2 milliamps at the moment of leakage of current, and what should be dropping. As I said, this thing's been bloody real handy for reforming caps. Yeah, so I mean, these being of a Japanese origin, they'll form up fine. I've got no problem using these in my own sets. If it was customers, I'd probably use modern or new ones in there. Just, I don't know. I just some years ago, I repaired a set for a customer, and I used some secondhand, good quality secondhand parts, and one of the caps shorted and let go. I thought, oh, and ever since then, I've always been a bit wary about putting good quality secondhand or even good quality, even new old stock parts in, just because it kind of bit me on the ass. So yeah, but no, I mean, these will be fine for me, be totally fine. So that's where we're at with that. So I'll change those 2 caps, and yeah, I'll report back with another progress report soon. Cheers.